So this one I haven't done any preparation for. This was thrown to me during the stream, so I'm going to be reading this one off of CNN's website because apparently there's a dude. He's a GOP nominee for governor, and he's said that he's a black Nazi. So we're going to get into that. This is an impromptu one, so no fan art or anything. We're just going to jump right into it real quick. I also realized my Zoom is on. Let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Boop. Now you can see stuff. So, from CNN, Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for the governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago, where he referred to himself as a black Nazi and expressed support for reinstating slavery. I don't feel like people like that should be in power. Like, I get that's 10 years ago, but I don't know how quickly those particular thoughts fade. Despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, I guess none of it ever actually faded. Robinson said he enjoyed watching transgender pornography, a review of archived messages found in which he also referred to himself as a perv. Okay, every single time they're willing to jack off to trans people, but they are not willing to let them have human rights. It's almost like they really needed to be socially unacceptable to suck a woman's dick so that they can get off. It's a shame thing. I swear to God. Let's see here. Van Brick says, what's on my messages being checked now? It's auto-mod. I have no idea. The comments, which Robinson denies making, predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. They were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robinson's by matching a litany of biographical details and a shared email address between the two. Many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board. The comments were made under the same username, Mini Soldier, a moniker Robinson frequently used online. Robinson listed his full name on his profile on Nude Africa, as well as an email address he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. CNN is only reporting a small portion of his comments on the website given their graphic nature. All right, let's see here. Facebook post shows his previous Twitter handle where he talks about how it's bad that people who are trans are in sports. Many of Robinson's comments on Nude Africa stand in contrast to his public stances on issues such as abortion and transgender rights. Publicly, Robinson has fiercely argued that people should use bathrooms only that correspond with the gender that they were assigned at birth. He also said transgender women should be arrested for using women's restrooms. They should be arrested, but you should also be allowed to jerk off to them. Fuck off, dude! Fuck off! This is a commonality between all of these people, Nick Fuentes and all of them. When they end up being, like, when we actually look at the shit they're into, it's almost always the shit that they are most vehemently, like, virulently against. It's strange. Jassa says, what does trans porn have to do with abortion? I guess we'll find out. Let's find out. He says, if you're a man on Friday night and all of a sudden Saturday you feel like a woman and you want to go into the woman's bathroom in the mall, you will be arrested or whatever we gotta do to you. Robinson said at a campaign rally, we are going to protect our women. I'm sorry, but protect them from what? If a guy goes, like, let's just say, for instance, that a guy goes into a restroom and doesn't do anything to anybody, doesn't creep on anybody or anybody, just goes to take a shit. How is that a bad thing? Did you know that women can be attracted to women as well? Did you know that women can assault other women? Did you know that the majority of sexual assaults actually happen within families? Within people who know each other closely? Did you know that that's when most sexual assaults tend to happen? Not whatever the fuck he's talking about here. Some Nazi somewhere. Does abortion porn count as a snuff film? Jesus. Says, yet privately, under the username Mini Soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old. Robinson recounted the story as a memory he is still fantasized about. So he fantasizes about it all the fucking time, and it's the thing that he fights in legislation. That's kind of weird. He says, I came to a spot that was a dead end, but had 2 big vent covers over it. It just so happened to overlook the showers. I sat there for about an hour and watched several girls as they came in and showered. CNN is not publishing the graphical sexual details of Robinson's story. He said, I went peeping again next morning, but after I went back, the ladder was locked. So those 2 times were the only times I got to do it. Ah, memories. In other comments on Nude Africa, Robinson discussed his affinity for transgender pornography. He says, I like watching a trans on girl porn. I refuse to say the way he worded it. That fucking shit. That's fucking hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. I'm perv too. I don't. What? Okay. I mean. So I don't want to disparage somebody for their sexual preferences and the things that they like. It's okay to watch porn with transgender women in it. I watch porn with cis women in it. I watch porn with transgender women in it. Sometimes the porn I watch with transgender women in it is the stuff that my own partner has made. Like, I don't see the problem with that specifically. It's the fucking fetishizing about it that's weird to me. Like, that's the part that's fucking awful to me, especially if you're going to brag so hard about how hot it is, how much you love it, how it just gets your rocks off, but you just want their human rights taken away. You know what causes there to be less trans porn? When there's less trans women, just in general. Old Gus says, no, please disparage him for making it weird. Oh, I'm not disparaging him for what he likes. I'm disparaging him because he made it weird. He made it fucking awfully weird. 110%. Clueless says, can we stop deciding politics based on people's kinks? I'd love to not do politics based on somebody's kinks, but he's doing politics based off of his own kinks. He's kinky for trans porn, but he wants to ban trans people out of America. I don't want to bring his kinks into politics. He fucking did that. In an interview with CNN on Thursday, Robinson repeatedly denied that he made those comments. And he said, this is not us, these are not our words, and this is not anything that is characteristic of me. He said this, presented with a litany of evidence connecting him with the Mini-Soldier username on Nude Africa. He said, I'm not going to get into the minutia of how somebody manufactured these salacious tabloid stories. My guy, just accept that you like trans porn. Just point out, hey, like, if you really wanted to do something, go for the Christian argument. Go for the Christian argument where you go, yes, that was me. In a moment of weakness, I did and said those things. But I am a born-again Christian, believing in the power of the Lord and forgiveness, and I believe that He has held me to a higher standard for the last decade. None of what I did back then can be used against me, because only God Almighty can judge me. Like, that is an angle he could have taken, instead of fucking lying. Just lying about it doesn't do you any good. It just makes you look like you have egg on your face. It makes it seem like you, maybe, possibly, still look at all of that porn and still get off to that porn. Without, you know, liking the people involved in it. It's like the people who look up interracial porn, but also say the N-word. Like, it's people who are racist, but look up interracial porn all the fucking time. This shit is bananas to me. This shit is bananas to me. Sylvie says, what does fetishizing mean? I assume it was just finding X people attractive. No. Okay, so you can find a trans woman attractive without fetishizing the fact that she is trans. If you find her attractive because she is trans, exclusively because she is trans. Out of curiosity, what happens when she gets bottom surgery? What happens as her breasts develop? What happens as all of the factors that were involved in you being attracted to this person, what happens as they dissipate? Do your Fuda fantasies disappear and now suddenly you have to deal with the fact that she has a vagina? Because there are some people who, the minute that happens, they're no longer attracted to that person. When that happens, it was the transness that they were attracted to, that they were being fetishized towards. To specifically get into the issue with fetishizing, though, it is about what a fetish is. So a fetish is an object. So there's 2 steps to the fetishizing process. First, you make something into an object. Then you're able to objectify that thing. You're able to take autonomy away from that thing. It's like there's a difference between having a black girlfriend and having a girlfriend because she is black. If the only thing about your girlfriend that is attracting you to her is the fact that she is black, that is the thing that you are fetishizing. That is the thing that you are going for. You are taking that person who is made up of a billion different traits, and you are only fetishizing the one thing. You are dehumanizing that person. You are dehumanizing them. Zeth pointed out that fetishizing is you view and treat the person in question exclusively as an object, not as a person with their own thoughts and feelings. Yeah, like it is the fact that they are this one thing that you are attracted to, as opposed to them being a person with a lot of thoughts and feelings. People can fetishize all kinds of things about a person, like gamer girls, for instance. You fetishize the fact that she is a gamer girl, but if she decided she didn't want to play video games tomorrow, would you still be attracted to that person? Would that aspect disappear, or were you just completely and totally locked on the fact that she looked sexy holding a controller in her mouth, right? Like, this shit is weird. Jasta says, I remember learning the word fetish in psychology. I asked if it was some sort of vegetable like lettuce. No. So after you turn something into an object, you transform it from that object. You transform that desire for it into a desire to possess it, right? You transform that into a desire to possess that. So you have this person, and it is important to you because they are trans. Now you're fetishizing a trans person. You're taking away their personhood. You're treating them like a thing. And the only thing that matters about them is this one aspect that you have put above everything else. Sylvie says, would it be fetishizing for dark-skinned people to be looking at porn because I'm tired of seeing white people all the time in porn? No, that's not fetishizing, because you're not taking a real person and getting rid of all of their aspects and only removing one thing. Like I said, it's okay to watch, like, to seek out interracial porn or trans porn. It's okay to seek these things out. It's not okay to pretend that these people are only dialed down to the one aspect and to start celebrating that one aspect about them, and that's it, constantly. That's when it starts getting to be really, really fucked up. And it should be noted, when people start fetishizing trans people, it is a form of dehumanization. Once they start fetishizing them, it becomes really easy to start taking away their human rights, as we see Republican politicians doing right now, because they've already decoupled this person from personhood. Let's see here. CNN first reached out to Robinson Tuesday morning with evidence connecting him to the comments on Nude Africa. It took his campaign 2 days to respond and issued a denial. During his interview with CNN, Robinson repeatedly said the issues that faced North Carolinians were more important than what he called tabloid trash, and he steered the conversation towards attacking his opponent in the race, Democrat Josh Stein, the state's attorney general. He said, we're not getting out of this race. There are people who are counting on us to win this race. So there is a way to look at this as tabloid trash. Making fun of somebody for liking trans porn is a form of tabloid trash. But it is also important to note that if you are trying to propose legislation that is anti-trans, then your porn preferences being trans women is in fact not tabloid trash anymore. This is very, very relevant, because now a group of people who you are trying to strip human rights away from are also the people you jerk off to. It's like if a Nazi was exclusively looking up Jewish porn because that's what they need. Like, they are always going after Jewish women in porn, and then suddenly they're out trying to fight for that person's rights being taken away. We would consider that porn that they were consuming, we would consider it definitely part of the conversation. It's not tabloid trash anymore. Now it's really weird, right? It's like if somebody is gay and they are fighting against gay rights or fighting for the propagation of conversion therapy. Just making fun of somebody for being gay is tabloid trash, but once you start talking about gay rights, now suddenly it's very important to the conversation. It's very, very important. Fennec says, I just kind of hate that the cishet white stereotypically attractive is the default, and everything else you basically have to look up. You basically have to look up a fetish category. The way that porn is managed is an entire conversation in and of itself. Then CNN goes to point out that there's a history of controversial statements. Now campaigning for governor, he says he supports so-called heartbeat bills that would ban abortion. We've already, Georgia has one of those that bans abortion after 6 weeks. Writing as mini soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson said he did not care about a celebrity having an abortion. He said, I don't care, I just want to see the sex tape. Oh, that's why the abortion stuff has to do with everything now. It makes sense, because he actively talks about fetishizing people who get impregnated, even if they have to kill the baby. That's his thing. And then he wants to make abortion illegal. I feel like his fetish is stuff that you're not supposed to like. I think that's exactly what his fetish is. If something is taboo, he's willing to go after it super hardcore. Let's see here. Robinson, who became the North Carolina's first black governor if elected, also repeatedly maligned civil rights leader Martin Luther King, attacking him in intense terms that a user accused him of being a white supremacist. Robinson wrote about the dedication of the memorial to Martin Luther King in Washington, D.C. by saying, get that fucking commie bastard off the National Mall. My guy, the only reason that you are able to run at all for office is because your civil rights were fought for by people like him. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. He says, I'm not in the KKK. They don't let blacks join. If I was in the KKK, I would have called him Martin Lucifer Coon. Let's see here. Let's see here. If memory served, there actually were a couple of people who made their way into the Ku Klux Klan while being black, specifically to infiltrate it. It's amazing how many things can be hid under a white hood. Also, you don't have to be KKK to be racist. We can just point out that, yeah, maybe the words you're saying about Martin Luther King and the way he fought for civil rights is just a little bit racist. Just a smidge. CNN's reporting on Robinson's comments comes a few weeks after The Assembly, a North Carolina digital publication, reported that Robinson frequented local video pornography shops in the 90s and 2000s. The story cited 6 people who interacted and saw him frequent the stores in Greensboro, North Carolina. A spokesperson for Robinson called the story false and a complete fiction. Despite earning the full endorsement of the former President Donald Trump and the North Carolina Republican Party, Robinson faces an uphill battle in the race for governor against Stein. His history of controversial remarks, including mocking school shooting survivors, his past support for total abortion bans without exceptions for rape or incest, disparaging the civil rights movement, has been a constant theme of the race, and it shows that he's losing to Stein. Wait, so he mocked school shooting survivors too? In the post after the shooting, Robinson called the students who survived the school shooting spoiled, angry, know-it-all children and media prostitutes. Media prostitutes. Media fucking prostitutes. What the fuck? Yeah, no, this is a despicable fucking person. This is a horrible person. GOP frontrunner for North Carolina supports banning abortions without exceptions. Now he avoids using the A word. For me, there's no compromise on abortions. It makes no difference to me why or how the child ended up in that womb. All right, cool. So if rape happens, if a pregnancy happens because of incest and the child might have no real life ahead of it whatsoever, none of these are acceptable. All of these are horrible, horrible things, and you should not allow people to carry those children to term if they do not specifically want to carry those children to term. Him, on the other hand, he wants to force people to carry those children to term, even if they were raped, which would mean that there are rights given to the rapist. That's a bit fucked up, isn't it? Tell me that's fucked up. Old Gus says, tell me that's a typo because I'm familiar with when it's not. Yeah, fuck you, Robinson. Jesus Christ. On the Nude Africa website, in both comments on his profile, Mini-Soldier offered numerous details that align precisely with Robinson's personal history. In his profile, he listed his full name as Mark Robinson, disclosed a private email address Robinson used elsewhere online. In 2012, a user responded to a comment by calling Mini-Soldier Mark. Mini-Soldier mentioned in 2008 being married for 18 years, which corresponds with Robinson's marriage to Yolanda Hill in 1990. In 2011, Mini-Soldier wrote that he had been married 21 years. Mini-Soldier wrote in a 2011 post that he lived in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the same town where Robinson lived at the time he currently lives. This would be a long con if this wasn't him. In a post in 2012, Mini-Soldier said he served in the Army in 1980s during the same time period as Robinson. In his sexually graphic comments detailing watching women in the showers in 2011, Mini-Soldier wrote that his mother worked at a historically black college. Robinson's mother also worked as a custodian at North Carolina A&T State University, an HBCU located in Greensboro. Both Mini-Soldier and Robinson often posted about the same topics online, including reviews for remote-controlled helicopters, their attraction to specific celebrities, and their favorite Twilight Zone episode. Yeah, I feel like at this point, that just kind of cinches it. This is you. Robinson, as Mini-Soldier, says that slavery isn't bad. On these pornographic forums, he revealed his unvarnished thoughts on issues such as race, gender, and abortion. Writing in a forum discussing black Republicans in October 2010, Robinson stated, unprovoked, "I am a black Nazi," saying slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring slavery back. I would certainly buy a few. In 2012, while Obama was the president, he said, I would take Hitler over any of the shit that's in Washington right now. Oh. Oh. He used the anti-Semitic slur when he said he liked the show Good Times, developed by Norman Lear, saying the show itself was a bunch of anti-Semitic slurs written by liberal bullshitters. When discussing the Taliban, he referred to Muslims as little rag-headed bastards, and said that if Muslims took over, liberals would be the first one to be beheaded. He also uses homophobic slurs frequently, calling other users the F-slur. In a largely positive forum discussion featuring a photo of two men kissing after one returned from a military deployment, Robinson wrote the only negative comment, saying that's some old sick-ass F-slur bullshit. If you want to know why my tone changed, it's the fact that this is somebody who's vying for power. This is somebody who has every chance to get a powerful seat. This is the kind of politician that the Republican Party endorses. This is the kind of politician that Republicans like having around. The reason my tone shifted is I went from, look at all of this crazy shit this person said and did, to, if this is one example of the kinds of people that the Republican Party wants to endorse, what other examples are there? We already know Donald Trump is a rapist. We already know he's got 34 felonies. These are the types of people the Republican Party like these days. These are the types of people they put in front of you. Why the fuck would any of you vote red? What is the benefit of voting red? When all of the forerunners in the party who are in their races right now are either conspiracy theory-laden nut jobs, dicto cheese-suckling nincompoops who want Donald Trump to endorse them forever, racist, homophobic pieces of shit like this, and then, of course, there's the dicto cheese person himself, the Cheeto Man, Donald Trump. If the only people that we have being endorsed by the Republican Party all fall into these categories, then my only assumption is that if you're voting for them, you agree with that. You agree that it's okay to call people the F-slur. You agree that it's okay to use anti-Semitic language. You agree that it's okay to take away trans people's rights. You agree that it's okay to jerk off to somebody in one motion and then strip them of their human rights in the next motion. You agree to being no better than an actual Nazi. Because this man called himself one, was willing to carry the label full tilt. If that is the person that you are willing to keep around in your company, you are willing to have as your representative, that is a red flag to me. Don't go out and vote at the polls. Stay home. Eat a cheeseburger. Step on a Lego. That said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Agamotto, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.